Hello, and thank you for joining me for a dose of virtual vitamin Z. My name is Sandy, and I'm an education specialist for the Detroit Zoological Society. And today we are out at the vulture habitat with our associate curator of birds, Bonnie, and she is going to share a little bit of information and answer some questions that you may have about vultures. So, Bonnie, how many vultures do we provide care for here at the zoo?
We have 13 birds under human care, and then we have 5 different species. All the species that we have are vulnerable to some degree, and most of them are endangered or critically endangered.
Could you tell us a little bit about the species of vultures we're seeing in front of us here?
Sure. In the left center is a lappet-faced vulture. They're one of the biggest African or old world vultures. And they have the typical bald head. A lot of people always want to know why they have a bald head. That's protection from getting a lot of goo and intestinal material stuck on your feathers and then messing up your feathers. It also allows them to dissipate heat. The one to the right of the lappet face is a Ruppel's griffon vulture. They are also found in Africa. And if you notice, they have a long neck. And they have a long neck because they like to feed on the internal contents of a carcass. And then in the front to the right is a Cinereus vulture. And a Cinereus vulture is, you can see, has feathers on its head, and it's more suited for a colder climate. The Cinereus vultures are always compared to some of the others that lap it as the biggest vulture species, and they are one of the biggest vulture species.
How long do the different vultures live in human care for?
They can live 30 to 40 years. So, the average can be 35 plus or minus another 5 or 6 years.
Awesome. So I see that they have been provided some enrichment here in front of us. What is it that's in those boxes?
Yeah, today they're getting, they get a variety of enrichment daily. Today it appears to be a general standard cardboard box. However, inside the box are crickets and some treats that they actually love. And I have to say, honestly, they like to eat a few of the crickets and stuff, but the most important part for them, the funnest part, is tearing up the box. It's just a normal behavior for vultures, and then actually if you see them squabbling over the enrichment, that's again normal behavior for vultures. They do congregate in large groups, and they have quarrel. So that's normal, but for the most part, tearing that up is engaging.
And that's the whole point of enrichment, right? Is to help them engage in normal natural behaviors. Yep. What other kinds of food do they eat? So you said crickets in this box, but what else is in their normal diet here at the zoo?
We feed them. We don't feed them 7 days a week. I want to explain the reason we don't feed them 7 days a week is because they are vultures, and in their wild habitat, they are designed to go days without eating. So under human care, we get a little concerned about some overweight issues, so we put them through a normal fast day twice in a week, and it allows them to process everything that is built up in their stomach, and they don't gain excessive weight, and it's very much another natural behavior. They get fed rats, they like mice, they like fish, and they like carnivore diet. True predators.
So we've been learning a lot about positive reinforcement training. Is there any positive reinforcement training that you do with the vultures?
There is. We can't demonstrate that, but on this perch here in the center, sometimes people can walk by the habitat and see the zookeeper out there working with them. We have scale trained all of these birds to step on a scale voluntarily, and we also have established a recall or a target procedure that we can get them to go where we want to. So we can ask them to step up on the scale, hands off, to voluntarily do it. It allows us to get a weight. It allows us to look closely at their feet and their toenails, and sometimes they put their wings out, and it allows us to check out their wing condition or their feather condition. So there's a lot of beneficial. Also, if we need to remove them from the habitat, we can recall them, and they will voluntarily come in, so they don't have to undergo any negative.
So it's really stress-free, right? That's the
very
whole goal,
stress-free.
right?
Yep.
Sometimes I see wild turkey vultures flying around the zoo. How does that impact the vultures that we provide care for?
We do have quite a large amount of wild turkey vultures that frequent the zoo. Sometimes they even overwinter, which is a little unusual in the wintertime. There was a turkey vulture in this habitat. All of the turkey vultures that one might see in this habitat are wild turkey vultures. We have one turkey vulture under our care, but it's in a different habitat. So these birds are definitely more dominant and stronger than a turkey vulture. So if they come in and out of the habitat, it's always after these birds have had their fair share of eating, and basically whatever's left over, they allow them to come in. There's never really any interaction besides just sharing the same spot.
Awesome. So you mentioned a little bit about what the different vultures eat in the wild. Why is that such an important role in the ecosystems?
Vultures are so critical to cleaning up the ecosystem wherever they're located. So they're located there's old world vultures, there's new world vultures, and their job as scavengers that's why they're considered the cleanup crew. It's extremely important to have scavengers, and especially vulture scavengers, in areas to clean up what would necessarily be left over that other animals don't want to eat. That way it's consumed. The vultures have acid in their stomachs, and they can tolerate a lot of stuff that we would consider very rotten, and it cleans up the environment, and therefore rabies and other diseases that could leach into the groundwater, leach into the drinking water for a lot of people where these vultures live, is contaminated. So they serve in a tremendous portion of the whole cycle of cleanup, and they provide a really good job because they literally eat everything up to and the bones.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Bonnie, and I appreciate your expertise in this. Thanks so much for joining us for this dose of virtual vitamin Z. And if you'd like to see more, go ahead and go to the education page, or Detroit Zoo page, education tab, virtual vitamin Z. Have a great day.